Well, howdy folks. If you have clicked on this video, then that means the meat hang has officially dropped. We sure hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm gonna pull it up right here. Backcountry going for gold in Wyoming. Go watch that. Get off this video. Go watch that. But when Quality and I were filming this and doing this whole big trip, you know, there's a lot of logistics that go in behind this and a lot of items that go into making a trip like this even possible. And so when we were hiking out, an exercise we did to keep ourselves occupied, keep our mind off the trail and the pain, was to make a Mount Rushmore of gear. And honorable mentions, of course. So today, we are bringing you the Mount Rushmore of Meat Hang 2022. And we're going to start it all off from the bottom with number 4. We're going to look at our sleeping pads and sleeping bags. Okie doke. On my left, I have Quality's kit, and on my right, I have my kit. Now, as you can see, the size is a little bit different here, but the brand, the size is not important. The functionality is important. When you're out in Hell's Half Acre, we were 14 miles in by the time we stopped. You need to be able to sleep. You need to be able to sleep comfortably and warm. There's a lot to be said about money, buying what it's worth, let's just say, or you get what you pay for. And in this kind of situation, don't be cheap. Get the good stuff, because a sleeping pad, it's not just about comfort. It's about getting you elevated off the cold ground, because when we were up that high, we found that the temperature swings were so wild, and at night it would plummet. So getting yourself off the ground, that extra air layer is insulation, because you can shove pine needles into your tent and you can raise yourself up as best as you want, but it's still going to be cold. So a good sleeping bag and sleeping pad is nice to keep that warmth layer and that protection. And yeah, as far as the sleeping bag goes, again, brand doesn't really matter. It's about the temperature gauge. And you'll have to double check this, because I'm not an expert on this. There's a lot of good backpacking articles and hiking articles about this. But the rating levels on these sleeping bags, they are, I guess, skewed or curved. You have to check them out, because the rating levels, it doesn't exactly portray what it actually protects you from. But yeah, we both carried very, very heavy sleeping bags as far as warmth and protection, and it ended up being pretty good for us. And the more modern style sleeping bags that you can find, I think they're mostly either down and some sort of like recycled, whatever, polyester, I don't know. But they're good when wet as well. And we noticed that a couple times with the rain or even dew in the morning, our bags would get wet, but they would still keep us warm. So you gotta be able to sleep. You gotta be able to be comfortable, especially after packing in all that weight, and you don't want to wake up with kinks in your neck or a contorted back or shoulder being hurt. They really do make the difference. So this was number 4 on the Mount Rushmore. Let's go into number 3. Number 3 was the Jetboil, the GOAT. This, again, I'm not even close to associated with the Jetboil, but I absolutely love mine. This thing has been everywhere and back in the last 4 years, and it has held up great. And you might think to yourself, well, there's all sorts of options for stoves in backcountry, or I could just make a fire. Yeah, that's all true, and we did make a fire in a lot of situations. But what the Jetboil offers it offers quick cooking, and it's relatively light and compact. So in a lot of the West, there are burn bans, because we're post meat hang, it's starting to get hot. Even in the high country, everything's starting to dry out. So there's going to be a lot of either wildfires or bans to protect from wildfires. And that's where these sort of options come in key, to boil water for food, to even cook stovetop food. This, again, I cannot tell you how important this was for us, because we ate a lot of freeze-dried food, or like our dehydrated mashed potatoes. Every single night we'd fire this thing up within seconds. I'm talking seconds. We'd have boiling water, quick, fast, easy. And yeah, I can't sing the praises. Again, free shout out, sorry. But get yourself a Jetboil. They really are worth their weight in gold. But yeah, that's numero 3. Let's get into numero dos. Second thing on our list, the Backcountry skins. Now, it got number 2, but it was so very close to being the most important thing. Kowalski and I, we kind of started working with this company, messaging back and forth right before this big backcountry trip, and I don't think we could have been any more happy with the results of the skins. Now, this is a Canadian company, And unlike the Jetboil, which was kind of a reluctant shout out, this is a huge free fat shout out. Go check them out. I've got them linked down below. They are awesome. I don't have an affiliate code yet. I might at this time, so go check it out maybe. But Backcountry skins, there are a lot of advantages to this, but the first and foremost is that this gave us a lot of warmth. Now these are a neoprene pant, and you can get them wet, you can keep them dry, it keeps you warm. It is, again, one of those things when the temperature varies so much in these backcountry scenarios. When you're so high up, you're so close to the sun, you're going to get really warm days, but then you're also going to get really cold nights. So this is a perfect kind of mid-layer to keep you protected in the cold and the hot. And then I guess the water itself too. That high up, it's going to be cold as hell. But we noticed that outside of the water and like the warmth protection, we found that these were so important for bug and sun protection. Because again, you're so high up, the sun is bearing down on you, you at least have your bottom half covered. And another thing we found out was the bug protection was next level. We were out right as the bugs were hatching, and I mean, for real, we almost got airlifted off by mosquitoes, just these clouds of mosquitoes, multiple times. We found ourselves wearing these around camp just casually to keep the bugs off our bottom half, and it did a great job because they're just thick enough to where the bugs can't bite through, and it's tightly woven. Again, I could not give a bigger, freer, fatter shout out to Backcountry skins, because when you're in these, again, longer backcountry trips, you cannot pack in boots, you cannot pack in waders, it's not feasible. So something like this with a pair of sandals and socks, it really does make a difference. And I think, I don't know, I don't want to count my chickens, but I think Backcountry skins is going to change the game, especially for us more backcountry oriented anglers. So yeah, that's number 2. Let's get into tippy top of Mount Rushmore, that being the Geopress. Food and shelter are very important in the backcountry. Yes, this is true, but you will die quick if you don't have water, and you'll be very sick or die faster if you have bad water. So this is definitely something new we added to our backcountry kit, that being the Geopress. I mean, this thing is insane. With how light it is and how quickly you can purify water, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever go back to iodine tablets. That's what I used in the past, and it does an alright job, but there's a time lapse where you have to give that water time to treat. You can also use these squeeze pumps, but that's a lot of active sitting by your water bottle, just pop, 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 waiting there for a very slow process to fill up your water bladder or your water bottle. With this, I mean, it was immediate. We could sit down and within 5 minutes have 4 full bottles downed. The Geopress, again, no affiliation, but this was our most important item. We had a lot of times where we were day hiking 2 lakes, going by creeks where we needed quick water, and this was the ticket. But then it also allowed us at camp to fill up water bladders, to fill up big water bottles each night, and in a very quick and efficient way. We've had some issues with parasites in the past, so we're reluctant, a little bit worried coming into this. How are we going to treat our water? How are we going to make this happen? And the Geopress was exactly that. And we probably got, I don't know, 50 plus uses out of this. And we're doing fine. We're doing great. And yeah, this is such a good investment, such a key, I don't know, game changer to the whole backcountry kit. And I don't know, like I said, I might never go back to iodine again. So folks, that is it from the bottom to the top, but we're not done yet. We have some honorable mentions that probably need a little bit of talking about. Now, of course, 4 items don't make or break the trip. Those are just the ones we found to be most important. We've got some honorable mentions here as well, but there is a symphony of things that go into this to make it happen. Just want to put that first, but yeah. First honorable mention, the face gaiter. Now this was mine, and it was a little bit longer. We noticed that the longer ones were much more valuable for sun protection on full face, but then also the neck. Kowalski's, he was a little bit shorter, and he kind of got smoked by the mosquitoes where there were gaps either in his face or in his neck when he would try and switch one way or the other. But yeah, this long one was definitely great for me. Again, kind of going off of that backcountry skins, the bug and sun protection. So that's number 1 on the HMs. Number 2, bear spray. Oh wow, Mike's back with bear spray. I know, I'm sorry. I am an advocate of bear spray. It is a very important thing to have along on these backcountry trips, especially out west or anywhere in bear country or critter country, because folks, it doesn't just work on bears. This is a great deterrent, either passive for two-legged people or active for two-legged people. Spray those dummies down. Or for cougars. For, I mean, any number of critters out there. Dogs, for Christ's sake. I mean, you'll have wild dogs get after you. But in this backcountry scenario, moving from lower elevations to higher elevations, that is where it's key. Because in a lot of senses, the bears aren't going to be up as high. They're going to be in these lower elevations as you're getting to your destination. So we had this, safety off, ready to go as we were walking up to our lakes. But yeah, it was good to have. I always suggest carrying a can or two when you're in these kind of more remote locations. Next would be the Garmin InReach Mini. Shout out Garmin. They don't sponsor the channel or nothing. They do a great job, and this is a big free fat shout out. But when you're out there that far, especially with your loved ones, it's good to keep in contact. Just a simple, hey, hi, how are you? I'm alive. So the Garmin actually connects to my phone, and I can message people just as easy as a text as I'm just sending it out. But it satellites through the GPS and boop, and then to whoever, mom, dad, girlfriend, whatever it might be. But with the InReach, this was very important, especially towards the end of the meat hang for us, because we got some news about the weather that kind of changed the way we were gonna taper out our trip. So instead of going from a 6-day trip, we went to a 5-day trip so we could avoid all the thunderstorms and hail and rain and really nasty conditions. So this was a key feature of our trip. And yeah, Garmin, hit your boy up. The last thing on our list, kind of similar to the insurance policy of the Garmin, would be a robust first aid kit. Now, this is heavy. This is going to be a weight investment, but I promise you it is worth it. I would break this down, but we'd probably be here for an hour, and you don't want that, I don't want that. Just trust me and know that there's everything and more in this pack. And I also have a day first aid pack within this. You know what, screw it, we'll open it up and you guys can just see. So here is my bug out for the day pack. That's what we would put in my backpack for our day trips to the lake. But I have gauze, I've got splints, I've got gloves, I've got a tourniquet for criminy's sake. I've got so much in here between burn cream, ibuprofen. There's all sorts of tape, various kinds to patch you up, to get you splinted, to get you sewed up, to get off the mountain alive, and then maybe more robust help afterwards. But the insurance policy of a first aid kit is something that can't be understated, and that's why it made the honorable mentions. Because even though we really didn't use it all that much, I think one time I needed to get in there, and that was to glue up my toe. So yeah, when you're wet and you're hiking 14 freaking miles, guy like me, my toe split, and then you're left with a gaping wound. So something as simple as having super glue in your first aid kit, I was able to squeeze it together, glue it up, and I was fine the rest of the trip. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea, a perspective of what is important on these kind of trips. I mean, of course a tent is important, of course food is important, fishing gear and filming gear if you actually want to do the fishing and filming side of things, it's all important. But for us, this is where we would put our money every single day of the week, between the Mount Rushmore and then the honorable mentions themselves. This is what we found to be the most valuable. But folks, I sure hope you enjoyed the meat hang. It was a lot of fun to make and film, and those memories are forever captured. But wherever you find yourself, be it in a remote backcountry situation like Kowalski and I found ourselves in, or just in your backyard, I sure hope you keep those feet in the water. And until next time, tight lines. Alrighty folks, if you're seeing this, then that means Kowalski and I, we made it out alive, and the golden trout mission was a success, at least this day. But folks, as always, thank you so very much for sticking around and watching all these videos, man. It really does mean a lot that Kowalski and I can kind of share these adventures with you, and then at the same time, you guys enjoy them. It's pretty neat.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord from Kowalski, so go do it. But folks, as always, the more you like and comment and subscribe, all this bloody BS, algo stuff that I don't claim to understand, I'm not telling you to do it, but it certainly helps this channel grow, and it's been, I don't know, man, it's been growing so quick, and it helps us do more stuff like this the more it grows. So folks, with that being said, wherever you find yourself, be it in the middle of freaking nowhere, Wyoming, or in your backyard. I sure hope you keep those feet in the water, and until next time, tight lines.